What's up, YouTube? So today we're going to talk about the Season 5 patch notes that came with the update in Apex Legends to Season 5. Just want to talk about a few things that kind of caught my attention and things that I think will be meta-defining in the coming months. First thing is Loba. We know pretty much everything about Loba so far except how she actually plays. And if you want to see how she plays, go ahead and hop into game and you can play her for yourself and test her out. I'm not going to talk about her kit too much. We're getting an update to Kings Canyon. So Skulltown and Thunderdome are gone. You can see right here. This is Octane's Gauntlet. This is Market over here. It's like all of this area where Skulltown and Thunderdome are gone now. This new area is called Salvage, and it's on what they call the Broken Coast. On the opposite side of the map, which it doesn't show a picture of here, where Relay and Wetlands used to be, we now have what's called the Offshore Rig. It's been replaced by the excavation of a capacitor, which has a new underground pathway to Sing Labs, which is where the giant Wraith portal is. The Nesting Grounds, which is that big open area with the big mounds, not much out there, has continued to regrow into the Reclaimed Forest, which features an expanded Sing Labs exterior and a small camp outside of the cage. So another change coming to Kings Canyon is charge towers. So what these are new devices that you activate to grant a full ultimate charge to any legend standing on the platform when the charge blast goes off. So I'm assuming this right here is our platform, and if you're standing on that, when somebody activates the charge and you get hit with that charge blast, your ultimate will be fully charged. I'm not going to talk about quests too much today. I'll have a whole separate video talking about those and how to play them, the best legends to play for them, if you can do it alone or if it's better to have a squad, all that kind of stuff in an upcoming video. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, that way you are notified when I post that video so you can be one of the first ones to have access to that information. This is a small little change. They added a season tab, which will show your battle pass, your quests, and your challenges. Not a huge update, but more of a quality of life kind of thing. It's nice to have, and not having to scroll all the way to the other side to get to your battle pass, and just everything being kind of confusing. So I think that makes it flow a little bit better. I'm not going to talk about the battle pass too much. When you get into game, you can scroll through and look at all of the changes and the new stuff in the battle pass. Ranked Series 4 having this reconnect feature. I'm going to be making a separate video just on ranked, kind of tips and tricks kind of thing, and so we will talk about this reconnect feature a little bit more when that video comes out. So Mirage got a huge buff. The designer notes say that the hope for this rework is that it gives more depth to Mirage gameplay by giving Mirage players avenues to get better at bamboozling people. I got bamboozled with my words right there. So they changed his tactical slightly. Pressing the character utility action button, which is the button that you use to send out a decoy. So on PC it would be Q, depending on how you have your keybind set. It allows Mirage to gain control of his decoy. While he's controlling the decoy, it will mimic his every move, which is huge. So if you jump, the decoy jumps. If you slide, the decoy slides. If you move left, the decoy moves left. And on top of that, the decoys now last for 60 seconds. Obviously, releasing another decoy will remove the previous one. That's nothing crazy. That's kind of to be expected. But having a full minute of a decoy mimicking everything you do is huge and adds a whole nother layer to how good Mirage will be. His ultimate, this was data mined, and a lot of people figured that this would be his ultimate, so he deploys a team of decoys that mimic his every move. just like the emergency dance party from the Dummies Big Day event. Basically, you're going to have 5 or 6, I think it's 6, it could be 8 decoys that are spread around you, and they will do everything you do, which makes it super confusing to enemy players trying to shoot you, because now not only do you have multiple decoys that are mimicking your every move, so moving where you move, whereas before the decoys would just stand still and you went invisible. Now to get to you, unless they get lucky, they have to shoot every one of your decoys before they finally hit you. This only has a cooldown of 60 seconds, which is very, very short, so his ultimate is going to be going off very often. His passive, Now You See Me, in addition to cloaking when down, Mirage also cloaks while using a respawn beacon. Good change. And while reviving a teammate, and the teammate is also cloaked. This, on paper, seems really, really, really overpowered. I think that the one thing that keeps this from being overpowered is the fact that you can use your audio cues or your sound to determine what direction a revive is coming from. But this adds a whole nother layer to Mirage's kit, and was something that I didn't see coming. Bloodhound, he got a little bit of some changes. So his detection on his tactical ability is now 3 seconds. It went from 3 seconds to 4 seconds, so it lasts a little bit longer. And the cooldown is decreased by 10 seconds, which I think helps a lot, especially since his tactical doesn't really do any damage. It doesn't affect enemy players. All it does is show you where they're at. Crypto, his drone can now ping banners, the big banner cards that hang up on the big, pillars, telephone pole looking kind of things. He can now ping those banners while in the drone to warn teammates of nearby squads. The blue lifeline bin ratio has been bumped to 20%. Not sure what it was before. I think it was around 15. And they removed knockdown shields from the secret compartment loot pool, which is the compartment that only lifeline can open. I still don't think that's enough for lifeline, but we'll talk a little bit more about her later. Caustic, this is some big changes to Caustic. This makes me want to start playing Caustic again. Friendly gas no longer slows teammates. That is huge. Absolutely huge. When you are playing with a Caustic player, it's really hard to back them up in gunfights because their gas is slowing you down just as much as it's slowing the enemies down. This completely changes that. They also made it so where Caustic traps are no longer triggered from the other side of a door. I agree with that change. I think it makes sense. As a Wraith player, I kind of don't like that change. Being able to walk up to a door and not see the Caustic trap, but it go off and not have to take that damage was really nice. But I definitely think that this was a good change for Caustic. So we got Octane. They said here that Octane, they're trying to make him more of a team player. So this is the first step in that. The rest of it didn't make the cutoff for the patch. His launchpad cooldown is reduced from 90 seconds to 60 seconds, which is nice. I don't think the launchpad is really too game-changing, so having it an extra 30 seconds earlier, I don't think that's a big deal. Gibraltar finally getting a little bit of a nerf. His dome shield duration has gone from 18 seconds to 12 seconds. I think that was a really good change. It gives you enough time to pop a couple heals if you need to, or to think about where you're going to reposition next for the fight. It also gives you time to revive your teammates inside of it before the dome falls down, but that's about it. After that, you're going to have to get out and find somewhere else to hide, or to take cover because the dome shield is 6 seconds shorter now. Huge change to Pathfinder here. The cooldown for his grappling hook, which is his tactical ability, has been increased from 15 seconds to 35 seconds. That is huge. I definitely think that that's going to anger a lot of Pathfinder mains, but I also think that this was a very good change to him. It will make you think before using your grapple. So now you can't just grapple in, get a couple shots off, grapple back out, heal, grapple back in. You now actually have to, for one of the characters who has the most mobility in this game, there now is a little bit more strategy involved because you have to think about when it's optimal to use your grapple, whether it's to engage or disengage the enemies. So down here we've got some weapon and loot updates. Season 5 is the first season of Apex that doesn't get a new weapon. I'm kind of a little bit upset about that, but we're going to continue reading. I kind of understand. The developer said, we stepped back and asked ourselves, does Apex need a new weapon every season? If we continue to add new weapons, the weapon pool will become saturated. We believe there is a right amount of weapons in the loot pool, and we are currently in that sweet spot. Vaulting weapons is not an option because players have purchased skins, so we are forced to be more creative. We have some ideas on how to address it, but we need some time to test them and make sure they are healthy for Apex. We also want to make sure that weapons we add have real value to the gameplay. We have some fun stuff in the works. Our weapon team is hard at work. In the meantime, we hope the changes listed below can get you excited to learn and master the Season 5 weapon meta. Speaking of the Season 5 weapon meta, I won't show that bottom yet. So the fully kitted gold weapons are the longbow, the hemlock, which I don't believe we've seen as a gold variant yet, the Spitfire, which I know we haven't seen as a gold variant yet, the EVA 8, and the RE45. RE45 doesn't make too much sense to me, same with the EVA 8, but who knows? Maybe they've got something, maybe they have something that they're planning that all of these kind of tie into. This list seems a little random to me, except for maybe the Spitfire, because it's the only one that hasn't been a gold weapon yet on this list. Well, I guess the Hemlock hasn't been a gold weapon yet either. Was really hoping the R99 would be on this list. I understand why it's not. It's probably the most used gun in the game. So, yeah, here's our gold weapons for this season. Big change right here. Huge change. The Mastiff is being rotated out of the care package to a regular weapon with its power reduced accordingly. From what I've seen so far, it isn't reduced that much. You get an increased shell count from 4 to 6. You can now put optics on it. It needs a shotgun bolt. It won't be the same gold, ready to go, full on, one-shotting people in the head. But this is still going to be a really, really good gun in the regular loot pool. To take its place, the Peacekeeper has been rotated out of a regular weapon and into the care package weapons, with its power being increased accordingly. I think that was a good decision. The Peacekeeper is a very good shotgun, and I think that putting it into the care package weapons was a good decision. A few small changes here. The alternator magazine size has been increased by 3. They increased the damage for the RE45 and reduced the reload time. The Havoc, they increased the recoil slightly. I don't think it's going to make a difference. The Havoc is still going to be way too strong. They reduced the headshot skills for the Longbow and the Wingman because they added the Skull Piercer hop-up back in. So now it doesn't do as much damage as when we had the Skull Piercer before, but the headshot damage is increased for the Longbow and the Wingman. And the Anvil Receiver has been removed. This is a big change right here, and for such a small portion of this whole patch notes page, this is a huge change. So gold armor, they've added shield cells and syringes give double the amount per use. And they removed the fast heals. I think this was a good change to the gold armor, but I don't think that this is enough to justify removing this. So we will see. I think the fast heals were really strong, but I don't think that doubling shield cells and syringes is enough to make me want to pick up a gold armor at this point. So we'll see. A lot of this is going to take testing and playing in the game to figure out what's good and what's not, what they messed up and what they got right. But for now, that's it for the patch notes. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoy Season 5.